Hi everyone. In today's video, we are going to create a new feature in our expense tracker application purely using Claude Code. We aren't going to code anything ourselves, but we are using Claude Code to create this new feature. And this new feature is going to be like adding a voice assisted like expense creation. So instead of typing the expense, the user will be speaking to our app and we'll be capturing that and we'll be adding an expense to that. So without further ado, first let's see the concepts behind that, what we are doing, the prompts, and then we will be moving to the VS Code for the actual development of this. So without further ado, let's move. So as I mentioned, that we are going to like create a voice feature in expense tracker application using Claude Code. So by the end of this video, what we are going to do, will be able to save like spend 400 on yogurt today. So based on this, our application is going to add a new expense having a food category and yogurt as the item and 400 being used as the price. So, and all what we are going to do is using the like Claude Code. So with this being said, so what we will be like creating in this video is going to be, I'm just going to tell about the bits and pieces. So a microphone button is going to be added on our expense page. Then as we speak, we are going to see a live transcript. Let's say we are saying spend 400 on yogurt. So we are going to get and see a live transcript. Then the spoken phrase will be parsed into our expense fields. Confirmation card is being shown. Let's say if like while parsing some error or imperfection is being done by the parser, so the user can correct that and then the user can save it to the existing expenses store. So here is the first, like I would say, a warm-up prompt. Why this warm-up prompt is being used? Because whenever we open Claude in VS Code, so what actually happens most of the time we create a new session. So with this prompt, what we are going to say, we are like telling the Claude that we are adding a new feature, creating expense by voice. Then we are suggesting it read plot.md, which we have already created, and confirm our conventions. Then read these two files. Again, because we need this feature to be added on the add expense. So we are suggesting it to build a context around that and against the store, because expense.store is the central state management of our application. So we are telling it to use that. So you understand how expenses are created or currently created. So basically, we are just saying Claude to refresh its memory based on what we just said. So once we have done this warm-up prompt, so then we are going to say to the Claude that we are going to create the voice capture service, because we are thinking in terms of an architect and developer, but we are focusing what sort of things need to be created first. So we are focusing on the voice capturing service. So we are suggesting Claude to create a voice capture service that wraps the browser's web speech AI. So certain browsers like Chrome and Edge do support this web speech AI, where user can speak and the like browser can help us parse it to the text. So what I'm saying, I want to expose everything as signals. So again, we are suggesting that we want signals to be used because we are following the most recent approach in Angular. We are currently using version 21. So we are saying it like everything as signal following our apps pattern, whether it's listening the live transcript as someone speaks, the final script, any error, and whether the browser even supports it. Then we have said like handle the common failures cases like denied microphone, no speech detected, unsupported browser with user-friendly messages, not raw API error. So we are directing the Claude that do use proper friendly messages, not the raw messages. Then we are saying it like web speech only needs to capture one short phrase. So we are not going on a full sort of a dictation. We are going to where we are going to like capture a whole paragraph. We are suggesting to capture only a phrase at a time, not a continuous dictation. and then propose the service before writing it. So this is what we have said to Claude. Now comes to the second prompt. So we have created service. Now comes the mic button. So we need to know where this mic button is going to exist. So as we need to add this on the add expense page. So what we are saying just add this add expense.ts file and the HTML. So both template and TS file, we are suggesting Claude to read that. And then we are saying add a microphone button to the add expense page that use the voice capture service, which we have just created in the previous prompt. While listening, show the live transcript as the user speaks and animate the button so it's obvious the mic is active. So one thing which we are asking Claude to make over here, to make this button much more interactive in a sense, like people or a user get a feel that this voice is getting captured. So it is going to add some styling to that. And then we are saying if the browser doesn't support voice, hide the button entirely, the manual form still works. So let's say if any browser, as it is being said, Firefox doesn't support it. So on that, we are not going to show that button. So user do not get that feature which is not supported by the browser. Then we are saying follow our existing styling pattern in the template. So we are emphasizing that do use the same styling pattern which is there in the current template. Then we have another prompt. We have created the service. We have asked the component to be modified to add the button. Now we need the proper parser to parse this, because now I need to turn a spoken phrase like spent 400 on yogurt today into structured expense fields, amount, category, title, and date. So that's what we are saying. Then we are suggesting write a parser in plain TypeScript. It needs to pull out the amount, handling, like both digits and spoken number. Match a category from our existing list, which we have mentioned over here, using sensible words like yogurt and lunch are going to be mapped to food, fuel, and Uber are going to be for transport, and so on. Detect today, yesterday for the date. Use the leftover text as the title. That's what we are suggesting, Claude. And then show me your approach to the spoken number problem. First, that's the tricky part. The reason why it's saying, because parsing is the main crux over here. So even and in terms of spoken number, so at times it needs to identify how those spoken number like 400, 4000 is going to be converted. So that's what we are asking it. So moving forward, then we are asking the confirmation card and the save. So we have created our service. We have asked the button to be added on the add expense page. Then we have asked it to create the parser. The ones that have been parsed, so we are suggesting it. So don't directly save it. So when the parser finishes, don't save automatically. Show a confirmation card and the parsed fields fill in. So the user can see what was understood before saving. So user can see and rectify anything if needs to be. So if it looks right, they confirm and it saves through the store. We need a create expense from voice method on ExpenseStore. So here we are directing it to use the ExpenseStore that validate the past data and add the expense, follow the existing with method pattern in the ExpenseStore, because ExpenseStore is our central store where the state is being mutated. So that's the reason we are suggesting it to use the ExpenseStore. If the parser missed something, then the user can still fall back to the normal form. So we are giving it in the control or in the hand of the person to see. And this is the last prompt which we are going to ask. Once we are done completing our feature, we are asking the Claude, what did you have to be corrected on this session? And we are taking a feedback from the Claude. What should we add to the Claude.md so the voice feature patterns are documented for future sessions? So this is something which we are asking from Claude. So with this being done, so this was just the theoretical part. So let's just dive into the VS Code. So let me share that. So you can see we have our Visual Studio Code. One thing I have done, let me just give you a quick review of our previous video. First, we have created a Claude.md file to have the Claude a better understanding of our project and all the conventions and do's and don'ts of this project. Second, in the second video of the series, we have added a mcp.json file. Using this, we have asked Claude to use the latest documentation from the Angular MCP server. So these are the two things we have done. One more thing which I have done is created a folder and I have kept these prompts over here. So for reference, we can just copy it from here, and these all the prompts are going to stay in this file. One thing, while working with AI assisted development, you need to know that now you are switching from a coding mode to a prompting mode. What does it mean? Like your prompt should be extremely well defined and being properly well directed if you need to get that AI coded proper to code your solution properly. So make sure you spend ample time creating the prompts, improvising them, creating a hierarchy of them, and documenting them so you can later reference back to them in case if you need to modify these. So you can see I have created this and I have like just mentioned like warm up prompt for Claude Code. Currently, I've just created a single file prompts.md. I might be segregating these files, but at this point of time, I'm just keeping this. Let me just copy this. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to open Claude and I'm going to open a new session. With this new session being opened, let me just paste. We are adding a new feature, creating expense by voice, and read this like Claude MD and confirm around convention, then read this file and this file. And so you understand how expenses are currently created. So I just asked like Claude Code to do this. And in the meantime, let me just rectify this. And you can see Claude is working on its own. And it's like on the same lines or on the same ID, it's saying that I have done certain things. So let's just keep reading while Claude is doing its work. So I have read the two files you mentioned. So the files we have mentioned, Claude.md is already loaded in my context. And so let me confirm convention and read the implementation files. Then it have read the two files which I've asked for. One is the add expense and the second was the store. Both file read. Here are my confirmation of the conventions and how expense creation currently works. So what does it say? It knows that the conventions that which I've mentioned over here was that uh, standalone components are going to be used because we have been using the new modern features, file naming, which we have mentioned, like instead of using the component, we are just using this. And then the state all have been managed through ExpenseStore. It reads that, it knows that signal needs to be used. The active form with validation can be used. And for flow control, new conventions are getting used instead of the old one. Then again, the signal have been used like with computed and effects for side effects only. Then the routing, it knows that lazy routing have been used. And if you are watching this video for the very first time, I have created a series and all these concepts which I am discussing like lazy loading, signals, and effects all have been discussed in separate videos. So feel free to see those videos to get a better understanding of how these things works. And then the HTTP and the display formatting using the custom files which we have created, the currency and the categories which we have added. So, and then it says like how expenses are created today. So add expense, it identified that and it knows that. So let me know your preferences. What the key takeaway it have identified for the voice feature? The cleanest integration is to parse the spoken input into the same, and we haven't said anything about this as of yet, but it's suggesting that. So we have just asked this feature. No further explanation we have provided to it, but let's just provide our new prompt to it and see how it responds to that. Let's just copy this. Uh, Let me just paste it over here. And in the meantime, let's just quickly see what it have provided to us so we can see. So capture voice approach. So it's again suggesting the web speech API in the browser and parsing, like rule-based parsing for the transcript, as I mentioned over here. And one more thing it's suggesting to send the script to the LLM. So we are not going for an LLM because LLM might be requiring an API key And this is going to add cost to this, because for every API call, we will be requiring certain tokens, and we might need to pay for the API. And one more thing, we haven't created any backend as of yet. So it's better to go with this like approach of what was this web search API. So with this being said, now what we have asked it, let me just quickly show you over here. Like even you can do it using this way. Let me click. So create a voice capture service. Now we have asked it to create the service, and we have provided all the things which we have discussed earlier in this video. So let me just do it, show less. And what does it say? Let me quickly check. Then it's identified that, then it got the service, that it have checked the authentication service. And in like parallel to that, because it needs to create a somewhat similar service on the similar lines, so it is proposing a voice capture service. And you can see this dot service is being used, keeping those things in its mind or it in its context. So you can see like in services, currently auth.service and this expense.service both have a dot service extension being used. So then in the public signals API, what it's saying that certain signals are being used, is supported, is listening, interim. So everything is going to be used over here. So I'll back each with a private writable signal and expose public as read-only version. So again, because we are mutating our signals state using the store, so that's the reason it's suggesting. Then it comes up with methods. So it's come up with the method of start, stop, and reset. Then it says that web speech configuration. So one short phrase which we have just mentioned. So it says continuous is equal to false, interim results is equal to true, and these language English US it's using. Then it have created an error mapping. So the raw API code, it have mapped it with like error like friendly messages. So if no speech means no speech detected, so user are going to get these messages. Then it's saying a technical note. So it's something which it says, and I might ask something from us. So web API isn't fully covered by TypeScript default DOM lib types. So I'll add minimal local type declaration. So it's going to add a certain interfaces over there. So a small speech recognition interface and the WebKit speech recognition window cast at the top of the service rather than scattering. So that's it's doing, and the life cycle is listening, flip off is open. So the service is purely capture plus transcript. So shall I write it as specified? So instead of just going with that, I'm going to provide it the further prompt, because we have well defined our features in terms of prompt ahead of this being created. So let's just copy the second prompt where we are suggesting it to add, like read these two files and add a microphone button. So I'm going to provide this, and let's just see how it works. Okay, just wait for a while. So what it does, it reads the add expense and the voice capture.ts, and it's still trying to work. So let's just wait for a while. Um, let me. So you can see what we have asked: add a microphone button to the add expense page that uses the voice capture service. While listening, show the live transcript. So that's what it's doing, and it's baking. So just wait for a while. So you can see over here, like it have asked me to create this white service, but it says it's not added. So it's asking me to create as, and then it can wire it up. So I'm allowing it all type of edits for now. So it can create that service. So you can see like this service is being created here. I haven't written a single line of code as of yet. I am only focusing on the prompts and the improvisation on the prompts. So my objective is to like steer the direction of my AI coding assistance, which is Claude Code in the current case, and I will not be doing anything using my hand. In a sense, like I'm not going to do or modify anything directly in the IDE. So let's just see what it's doing. So it's going to add a button. Just wait for a while, and in the meantime, let me just see what it have done, so we can avail our time properly. So it have created a service, then it have what it have done. It have imported that service within the expense TS file. And you can see then have injected the voice capture service over here, and certain those signals have been used over here. So voice capture states read only signals from the service. And then what it did, it created a toggle voice capture on or off feature. Like if it's listening, the voice is going to get stopped, and then it's going to reset and start. And what else it have modified? It have modified the template as well. It have a style, created a style. This style is going to show a sort of animation where the button is going to seems like it's capturing the voice. Then it's like, let me verify the actual compiler rather than trust a possible diagnostic. So it's building it on its own. It's using the npx ng build, and build is clean. So it says no error. And so it identifies certain things. So it have done, and what it's saying, like as we already seen it on top, like it have created a service. Then it have modified the expense file, and mentioned the same thing which we discussed, the template. So it says like button turns red and pulses, which I just discussed. So notes and scope. So let's just see those. This task is capture plus display only. The spoken phrase is shown but doesn't yet populate the form fields, because parsing step is the next piece. So we haven't asked for the parsing as of yet. And even in our prompt, that's the third thing. So web speech recognition need a secure context, work on localhost. So let me it's what it's saying, want me to wire the transcript into the form field. So instead of saying just yes, what we are going to use, we are going to provide a full third prompt to it. So let me just copy it, and let me just paste it over here. And you can see I'm asking it to write a parser in plain TypeScript. It needs to like pull the amount. So it's a parser, and I'm telling about the what I'm going to speak up. And then I'm asking it to show me your approach to the spoken number first. So it have created something for us. So let's just quickly see. In the meanwhile, let it keep working. So it's a good call. The spoken number conversation is where name approach breaks. So here is my approach before I write the full parser. So it's telling us its approach. So we are asking it, Claude, like a junior engineer, how he's going to implement certain complex feature. So what it does, it say the core problem. The spoken numbers are as a fully potential like digit. 400 is 4 into 200, but 25 is 20 plus 5, and 1000. So all mixes. So we can't look up in a table. You need to know when to add and when to multiply. So what approach it's using? Approach a running accumulator state machine. So it's going to use that and clarify every number word into one of three buckets. So what are those three buckets? Either like uh, this one is the ones, tens, and scales. So like it's doing it up to 100. Seems like it's doing it up to 100. So then walk the word left to right with two accumulators, like current building the value inside the current scale. So what it's going to do, it is going to create those. It's telling about the parsing logic. It might not be very relevant for us that to go into very depth over here, but as we are creating certain features which we need to be well aware of, so I'm just trying to like see to it. Then comes the two rules that make it works. The 100 multiplies what is the current group, and then bank the current group into the total and reset. So worked example, what it's saying, like 400, it says the result is 400. Let's say if someone says 2,50,000, so it's going to create that as well. So how it plug into the sentence within the full phrase, I'll handle two cases and prefer whichever appears, like digit, a prefix first pass. So in case if a digit is there, so it will pass that. If a word is been, find the maximum continuous round of like number words. So with this, we can improvise that, but it is suggesting. Then it's asking the accumulated scale cleanly to 1,000 lakhs without special casing. Want me to proceed and write the complete parser amount, and this returning up like this object that maps state into the store. So rather than saying it move ahead, one thing which we need regarding the confirmation, we are going to provide this that too. So what it's going to do, it's going to read this. We have already told it to create a parser, and it knows that I have told the approach and it's just asking me. Instead of giving that, I am providing a new prompt, because on top of that, it will be taking more decision. So I'm saying it when the parse finishes. So it means it will be going with the existing parsing approach, because I haven't said anything else to the parsing approach. And I'm saying don't save anything automatically. Show a confirmation card and then parse it accordingly. So let's just provide it and wait for a while. So you can see, like over here, it's saying that I haven't actually written the parser yet. Last turn I showed the spoken number approach and asked before writing. So I'll do this in 3 parts now. Write the complete parser, add this to the store via the confirmation card. So our prompt like mention certain more things to it, like we have to create a confirmation card. So it have like clubbed all these three in a step-by-step approach. So let's see how it does that. So now you can see, once it's said this to us, what it does, it reads the model, because it needs to know what type of expense, like this object do have what sort of attributes. That's the reason it asked for, it have read that, then it read the custom pipe, because for the currency, it needs to know how it needs to format that. Then comes the voice parser, because the parser, it is going to write, because it have read these two files. Now what it's going to do, it's going to write the parser, the first step of the above mentioned thing. So over here you can see, write the complete parser. So it have written the parser first, now the store method. So following the existing with method approach, which we have already mentioned it. So right after add expense. So after add expense, it's going to add that. Then now wire the component. So parse on final transcript, hold parse data for the card and add confirmation. So added in form actions are be like added on this add expense TS. That warning is expected. I haven't added the card to the template yet. So where it get used, let me add the component method. So it's doing that. So again, it's adding it on the add expense.ts. So now the confirmation card is in the template after the mic block. So after the mic button, what it's going to show is going to show the confirmation card. I haven't checked the like this created thing so far, because it haven't compiled it as your yet. But what it's describing to me, I'm trying to see or visualize that. So you can see add expense HTML have been modified as well. Okay, so the warning are on the pre-existing form getters, so that were already in the file. So certain things, when it's doing certain things, it's getting certain warning and build errors. So it's doing on its own. So let's say the ID just reanalyze the whole template after my edit. They are not from my code. The card uses this with no optional chaining, and they are warning, not errors. I'll leave the existing code untouched since it's outside the feature scope. So you can see it have taken certain action on its own. Then it goes to, and it created the build. So build is clean. So it knows that what it have been asked for. So it sees that what I built is like created the parser, the modified store, then the add expense feature have been modified, and the flow. So it says the flow is like a speak live transcript, and we can cancel that on our own spend. So exactly the what want me to run it in the browser to verify end to end and add unit test for the. So let me just run it. So run it in the browser. I can do it using the terminal, but I'm letting all the things to be done by this tool. So let's see how it going to come up. It is going to start the dev server, and then it's going to provide me. So allow and run this project. Just let's okay. So I'm going to say yes. Let's see what it's going to do. I could have asked it to launch the local host, so but it might be taking a bit longer route. So let's just move forward, because it's going to run a certain skill. I'm not going deeper into this at this point of time. So I anticipate it might be going to launch it directly into the browser instead of uh, using the local host. So let's just see if it's going to do it or not. I'm just awaiting and see what is going to happen. So just wait for a while. One thing you guys need to know that if you think like certain things could have been skipped, like I just asked it to run it in the browser and took it to another level and it's doing certain things using the playwright and the puppeteer and it's adding that. So if you don't want to go to that route, once it builds that, you can open a terminal and just you can just run npm start, and with those new modified changes, it's going to run. But let it do the things. We are in a learning phase and we are looking. You can see this puppeteer is being used to visually capture the layout, and based on that we can do. So you can see, so it's trying to run certain thing and seems like the port is different from the actual one which we use. So let's just allow it's install playwright. So let's just allow it. It's taking much more than what I was anticipated, and it's doing much more than what I think. I was just expecting it's going to run an npm start or ngserve to open a local host, but it's doing certain other thing. So I'm allowing it to let it go and wait for the dev server readiness. It's doing that. Let's see what is going to happen. It's going to start on this 4280 port. So I'm still awaiting. So let's see what happens. This is something you can say an overkill if you just want to run it using the npm start. So I could have done it that using the terminal, but certain things are being done. And in our future videos, we are going to see how we can effectively use Puppeteer to do some visual like improvisation. So let's just ask, it's asking for some driver. Let me just ask it. I'm allowing it and it have asked for multiple things. Don't know why it's asking for, because in a temporary folders, writing import chromium, and that seems like it's going to run the server on its own and is going to open the uh, Chrome browser. I don't know, but that's what I'm anticipating. Otherwise, it should have just run the ngserve and it have allowed me to like let's see. So all assertion, let even what is have done, you can see over here. All assertion, let me look at the screenshot to confirm the UI visually. So on its own, it have used the Puppeteer and have created certain PNG file. If I can quickly open that, let me just first go to that. And let's just open that. If it opens that, don't know. Let me just try opening that. Okay, let me just leave it for now. And let's see if it's been there or not. It might have removed that, so we are not able to capture that. So it still is taking way too long than what I have anticipated. So let's see what happens. It have done a sort of a verification on its own. Seems like it have used Puppeteer, created and built the project, and it have run. You can see, yeah, that's what I was expecting. It's doing something behind the scene. What it said, verified end to end using in real Chrome. So what it have done, using the playwright, it have imported the Chrome, and then what's the run proved, it have done these all run in the backend. I served the application on the local host and drove it with a headless Chrome recession, which I was anticipating. Since automated has no microphone, I injected a fake, so it have done it using a fake injection. So confirmation card was there and two notes. So don't so just run the server so I can use it on Chrome myself. And I'm instructing, don't do anything else. Let's see. Either it's going to like value what I'm saying or not, or if it's going to do something on its own. So I'm hopeful it's not going to, don't do anything else. Either it's going to take. So the server is running and it have provided me the URL. So let me just run it. So you can see like this expense tracker. So I haven't logged in, so there is no button. So let me just log in, because in our previous video, what we have implemented that this add like expense button is behind this like credential based input. So let me just save that and let me just add. So you can see add by voice is there. So let me use it, and I'm going to allow while visiting. So let me just okay, let me just cancel it. I wasn't prepared for that. Spend 500 on yogurt. So you can see that it have used yogurt. 500 is there, but the category is not very like well. So let's just try saving it and see. You can see the yogurt is here. Let me just add one more thing. And this time I'm going to say bought tomatoes for 50 rupees. So you can see instead of you can see I was saying bought tomatoes, so it instead of bought it's bought. So I can rectify that and I can add that. So there are so much improvisation at this point of time, but I am keeping this still here, and you can see I'm not going into the detail of the code as well. My major objective was to show that how we can effectively use Claude Code's prompting to create an end-to-end feature. And as you have seen that we are able to implement that feature, I'll be pushing this code on the repository as well if you need to check that out. And the major thing is the usage of prompt. The code itself is not valued much at this point of time. I can go into the detail of that, because before creating a PR, you should be well aware of what your code is doing. But the objective here was to use Claude Code to create a feature without writing a single line of code on your own. So I'm very hopeful that you are able to follow along with me till here. So if you want to add or ask anything, so feel free to leave it within the comment. If you like the video, so feel free to like and share it within your circle. So you can stay tuned for such type of videos in the future. So thanks for watching. Bye.